because that'll give away which mom it is. But she contacted me and she's like, what else is he doing? Like, she was asking me about what her son was doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a blogger. I'm a white blogger from the north side, and this mom was asking me about what her kid was doing, her own son. You know what I'm saying? That's how well these gang members keep from their moms a secret what they're doing, bro. Like, a lot of people just don't realize the families are in the dark in a lot of situations, and they're a completely different person in the house and to the ops, like completely different. So all the hate that moms get, okay, especially moms, because I think especially when they're dealing with like black kids or black men, there's kind of like a knee-jerk assumption that they must not have their dad in their life. A lot of them do. A lot of them got their dads in their life. A lot of them are being raised by their dad. That's kind of like an inaccurate thing. Just because the parents are not married doesn't mean that the dad is not in their life. Actually, most of the black kids that I knew in the schools, like, their dad was in their life on some level. He might not live in the same crib, but he was having regular contact with them. Even a lot of dads that are locked up are still talking to their kids every day. So you can't just jump to the conclusion that this is the parents' fault, or that they knew, or that it was the mom's fault, or this or that. And listen, I've made the same mistake too sometimes. Like, you're like, man, did you not know like what your baby was into? But a lot of times, I'm telling you, man, like, you bring that child into the world, you know what I'm saying, as a little innocent baby, mentally, I mean, me personally, just trying to put myself in their shoes, I don't know if I could get to the point where I transition, because there's no clear-cut point at which that little baby that you brought into the world that was just innocent and pure is now, a killer that other guys want to kill, and they might shoot up your house, and now, you might have to move because your baby got into it with these guys and they want to kill him because he killed one of them. Like, man, mentally, as a parent, I don't even know if I could come to grips with that, and I might just, like, immerse myself in a fantasy world and pretend that he's still innocent, you know what I mean? Because they're always going to be that innocent little baby to the parents. So you're dealing with it as a fan, you're able to see what they're doing, but a lot of times parents, even if all the evidence is there, even if, they're seeing what the kid is saying in songs and seeing what he's tweeting and all that kind of stuff, man, sometimes parents they think, oh, he's just hanging out with the wrong crowd. They don't even see that. The kid might have another account that the parent doesn't know about, and he's, going on Facebook on the low on his other account, dissing the ops, and then he got a different account for his family. These kids, man, they sneak around, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard for the moms to keep up because they got their own lives too. They're working full time, you know what I'm saying? They got other kids, they got to keep up. I even keep up with 4 or 5 kids, and they all got like these double lives that they're leading, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, man, I'm going to get into some of what people's mom was saying. This was put out by Complex. They said Chicago drill has captivated the world. Artists from New York, London, and almost every city that embraces hip-hop have been trying to mimic the sound created over a decade ago by a group of angry, hungry teenagers. Although the music is transcendent, they say, it is rooted in the city's gang culture, which often erupts outside the booth. This moves some of the mothers behind drill music muses to speak out against the violence. Mothers of slain rappers Effigy, Doug Blue, Mystery, Ray Ray, and Tuka talked on Chicago's Drea O show about the children, and in the process, these parents humanize the children, namely Tuka's mother. He said, throughout the rise of drill, the idea of smoking on dead rivals when referring to weed entered the mainstream. Because Tuka was a rival of drill's founding father, Chief Keef, the phrase smoking on Tuka became synonymous with getting high. Yet little did fans know this was extremely disrespectful to Tuka and his loved ones. He's now been reduced from a 15-year-old boy who was murdered at a bus stop to a social media meme and weed slang. And his mom said he got his nickname from the hospital. His mother, he was saying this in one of the segments of the interview. They said that they called him Attitude, and I shortened it up to Tuka. I don't get how they could be intimidated by someone who was 15 years old and want to take a person and want to make it into a strain of weed. Like, how could you say smoking on Tuka? Where did that come from? Who smokes on a dead person? It makes me upset. Where does that level of disrespect stop? He's already dead. Okay, now, I don't know if she knows this, but that whole smoking on people's thing was originally actually a respectful thing their own gang would do. Okay, like FBG, when they would, smoke weed, just like in memory of Tuka, they would like smoke weed in Tuka's honor, and they would say like, we're smoking on Tuka, but that was a sign of respect the culture kind of got flipped around, you know what I'm saying? And then other dudes would kind of like, they just flipped it around and made it disrespectful. But it was, you know, originally a respectful thing to do. So it's just a cultural, it was kind of a cultural reversal that happened in Chicago. But she went on to add, people are just so cool out here in this world. My son been dead 10 years. If it ain't the upcoming rappers, it's the ones already in the industry, and they don't even know my son. So a lot of these fans and a lot of these rappers, I need to let you guys know, and I've said this before in videos, like when you smoke on guys, like when you like make these little disrespectful comments and you just think are funny, their moms see all that. I've had moms tell me they read the comments. They're on Reddit. They're on these videos. They're reading all this, man. And I'm telling you, that gets to these moms' heads, and it hurts, bro. So, I mean, I don't know if you got a conscience or not. You know, that's up to you. But you know, you guys who do that stuff, and I'm obviously not talking to everybody because not everybody does it, but you guys who internet bang, you know what I'm saying, and diss these guys, like, you guys are hurting these moms' feelings for real. Like, that really hurts them for real, man. They tell me this. They tell me, I had one mom, man, she was like practically in tears telling me about comments, just about comments that she's reading and all the disrespectful stuff that she reads about her son, about which she knew, you know, she didn't really know what her son was doing. And she told me that she's found out about it, like she's learning more and more. She's been doing research, you know, she's partly reading all these blogs and watching all these videos on her son that she never knew about when he was alive, because she wants to learn, like, what was he doing, you know? And she just can't believe it. But when she sees all this stuff that people be saying about her son, man, like, she told me straight up, it hurts. And, you know, these moms, man, like, they're really in pain. Like, and the fans and the rappers are contributing to their pain. So, like I said, some of the moms know, some of the moms don't know. I'm not saying every mom is totally ignorant of what their son's doing, but, you know, like I said, if you've got a conscience, man, fall back on all that dissing, smoking on this dude and on that dude, because the families, you know, it makes it worse for them. They really do see the stuff that we, you know, the bloggers and the fans and all that write. And I'm not saying this, I'm not saying like, you know, I'm better than y'all or I'm like more righteous than y'all, because I was the one putting it out there for y'all to diss. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the one bringing it to the internet, like providing a platform for fans to diss. And basically, you know, creating a lot of new fans by just letting people know like what these guys did. You know, people that didn't know previously. So I'm a bigger part of the negativity than any of these fans. But, you know what I'm saying? I stopped, and, you know, I hope that you guys who smoke on these dead guys on all these blogs and stuff can also stop, for the mom's sake. That's what I'm saying. And the dad's sake, you know, and the brothers and sisters and all them, they see this stuff too, man. People pretending like they're part of the gang wars. I mean, that's something that at least I never did, like, not pretending like I'm part of this thing, you know what I'm saying? People felt like I took sides with the BDs. I didn't feel like I was taking no sides with the BDs. Like, I made plenty of videos against the BDs. It's just, it's fake. I mean, it's totally fake. You know, and then plus it hurts. Tuga's mom says, what I'm trying to establish now is a round table to bring all the moms together who have lost their children. I'm sorry, this is Epi Duck's mom talking. She says, who have lost their children due to the violence. And she says, due to the stigma that everybody has in Chicago with the smoking the dead people and disrespecting the dead, hopefully this movement will stop that and show people's real talent. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, you know, if the parents know, they still might, like, tell their son, hey, you better fall back with all that, you know, because all that negativity is going to come back around. But the son doesn't have to listen. A lot of these guys are in their mid-20s. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys are, like, in their mid-20s, 30s, you know. They're not mom's little baby anymore, so, I mean, she might be telling them to stop and you need to chill with all this gangbanging, rapping and stuff, and they still might do it, man. Like,
just at home, staying safe with my family, working hard.
A lot of guys, they're not listening to their moms, especially at that age. So for us to put it on the moms and put it on the families is for us to just think we know everything, you know what I'm saying, and to be unrealistic about the situation. So rest in peace to Doug, to the little mister. And hopefully, you know, I'm gonna say this, man. I think it would be nice if the moms of like the rival gangs, and I'm not just talking the GDs and the BDs. That's the conflict that everybody in Chicago knows. You know, a lot of people. Those are the only two gangs in Chicago that people know about. But there's a lot hotter wars than that. And a lot of the hot wars are like, it's the same gang, like over by Foster Park. You know, a lot of those wars down there are like stones versus stones. And these are hot wars. A lot of the wars up north at the pole, you know, that I've talked about more than anything because, you know, I stayed up there. But that's GD on GD. GDs versus other GDs. And foes, but the foes that's kind of like their own separate thing. But yeah, out west you got vice lords fighting against four corner hustlers. They're not supposed to fight. You know what I'm saying? They're all supposed to be part of the same nation. So you got a lot of just weird stuff going on, man. And to be honest with you, the BDs and the GDs aren't even supposed to fight. But that's been going back about 40 years now. A lot of wars in Chicago where I think it'd be a real good thing if the moms or the dads or, you know, somebody in the older generation, the uncles, anybody came together and just started these groups because, you know, that might at least break the ice. A lot of times ops can't, you know, squash the beef because there's been so much blood spilled and it's like anybody that talks to the other side is considered like you're turning your back on your own guys. But, you know, if the moms and all them came together, that might at least get something started that could lead in that positive direction. That'd be a good thing to see. But I don't blame them for not, you know, for not stepping out there to do it because that's a big step. Big step. You know what I'm saying? When we got sons that were shooting at each other, yeah, that'd be dicey. That'd be dicey, but it takes courage, man. Blessed are the peacemakers, man, for they shall inherit the earth. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully more moms will take it public. Your boy, when you see the report, I'm out.
For many of us, 2020 came with many challenges and setbacks. They say
this video is not specifically about Epi Doug or King Von. This is about something that we've been dealing with for years now, okay? But in a short period of time, we just lost arguably the two biggest rappers in Chicago. You know, there's a lot of big ones still here, but, you know, probably more have died than are still here overall. I would say, you know, if you put them both next to each other, the ones that we've lost and the ones that we still got, we've lost more. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking like the big guys too. This was in a very short span of time, not related to each other, you know, totally different stuff, but I see a lot of people, before I address anything else, talking about these two guys from an outsider's perspective, talking about Epi Doug, talking about King Von. They rapped this stuff and, you know, they got the energy that was coming back to them. And I said the same thing, you know, I said the same thing. You put out negative energy, you're going to get negative energy back. But I see a lot of people talking about they must be in hell, you know, saying a lot of stuff about them that's really like judging them as a one-dimensional character and assuming things without knowing. Now listen, I do believe in an afterlife. You guys know that. I'm Christian, or at least try to be. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know where these guys are at. I don't know anything that they did outside of what I saw in the public eye. And that's probably 0.1% of all the stuff that they did. And I see a lot of people judging them. Some even maybe Christians judging them, despite the fact that we're not supposed to judge. You know, judge not lest ye be judged. I just want to read one thing that a woman, a Chicago activist, wrote about King Von after he died, about an experience that she had with him. And it's typical of a lot of guys. I had posted a video of Epi Doug doing the same type of stuff. And all the Epi members, like passing out free stuff in their neighborhood, helping people out, doing a lot of stuff that got the goodwill of the community on their side and kind of spread a positive vibe through the neighborhood. This is a girl, actually I shouldn't call her a girl, she's a woman, Tamar Manasek. She had wrote about Christmas 2019 when King Von, who she didn't even know who he was, had pulled up to O Block. She's the founder of an organization called MASK, Mothers Against Senseless Killings. And the Sun-Times actually wrote up about the social media post that she made They said, in the aftermath of the murder of Chicago drill rapper King Von, much has been said regarding the difference or lack thereof between the content of his lyrics and the possible role in his murder. Along the way, Von made a fan of a woman who dedicates her life to shutting down the very circumstances that may have led to his killing. He said, to meet that boy, for him to be as bad as he was supposed to be, for him to do what he did, that's why I didn't understand how he could possibly be the person that was murdered in Atlanta. He said, how could this be? I saw his humanity. I didn't see King Von. I saw a kid on Christmas morning giving gifts to other kids. Now, before I proceed, Von was 25 at the time. He looked a little bit younger than he was. That's beside the point. He was not a kid. He was a grown man. I mean, he was well over 21 when he died. But she said, I'm old enough to be that boy's mama, and so when black mothers lose kids, all of us lose. I don't know if she's actually old enough to be his mom, but he said it has to be something that's felt throughout the community. That's the only way that we'll care about it. On Monday, Manasek took to social media, posting a lengthy tribute to the O-Block native by recalling the first time she met Juan and how his murder affects her and the community. So on Christmas Day 2019, Tamar Manasek and masked volunteers were in Parkway Gardens during their sleigh ride event when Juan, who grew up in the housing project, pulled up to the group asking how he could help. There's no publicity stuff going on around here. He's not bringing all the cameras around. He's not shooting a video doing this. He didn't upload this to his social media. He didn't go live on Instagram. He's not that I knew of at the time that he did this. He just pulled up the O-Block asking these ladies how he could help. And this is after he was already big and he was still back on O-Block. Not to clout chase, okay? Not to say, look, I'm back in Chicago where the ops at. You guys ain't sliding. He was there to just, do something positive, like help these kids out and give back. Okay, and he did that. Von did that. Not everybody does that. A lot of guys say, F Chicago, they leave and they never come back. And I'm not saying that kind of coming back. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between coming back and coming back. I've touched on this in other videos. I'm a firm believer in leaving, okay, and staying away. But, as far as reinvesting back into the community is what I mean. And whether that's in person or through a liaison, who's in the city, that you can just give the funds to and organize the redevelopment or whatever you're investing back into the community. I'm a fan of giving back, not coming back like a lot of gang members try to come back, post up on the blog and be like, where y'all at? I'm out here, y'all ain't on nothing, not that kind of coming back, okay? I'm just making that distinction. But he pulled up to the block, okay? This is just seemed like out of the blue, okay? Because he just saw them over there. And he said, I don't have any gifts on me, but can I pass out these dollars to the kids? Manasek said that she started the mask organization in 2015 by taking over a lot in the 7500 block of South Stewart in the aftermath of a murder in the neighborhood and had no idea who Von, he said, baby playing dress up draped in diamonds and platinum was. He said, I was just, basically happy for this kid, I'm paraphrasing here, who could have done anything with that money and could have been anywhere doing it, but chose to be there with us on Christmas morning giving. And she said being the best version of himself like the rest of us were trying to do. Before he left, he smiled and told me, I wish somebody would have did this for him and the other young men in his entourage when they were shorties. Okay, so here's her social media posting. On Christmas morning last year, during our sleigh ride, we pulled up on 65th and MLK. There were scores of kids out that morning. The weather was beautiful enough to be a day in June, when it was December. Once the sleigh caravan stopped, we were swarmed with excited kids and curious adults. There were toys and gifts aplenty, and there I was knee-deep in toys for little boys. As people are yelling what they need, and I'm trying to get it to them as quickly as I can, a young man rolls up. He's with his entourage, yet he still looks like a baby playing dress-up draped in diamonds and platinum. And he says to me, who is y'all? Like, who y'all with? What church? I reply, we're not a church, we're not the government, we're just some people who want to make sure these babies have a good Christmas. He turns and walks away, but seconds later, he's back. This time he says, I don't have any gifts on me, but can I pass out these dollars to the kids? As he looks down at the arm's length stacks of singles, he cradles in his arm. I smile and I give the green light and he jumps into the crowd and there's pandemonium in the best of ways though. I had no idea who he was. Before he left, he smiled and told me, I wish somebody would have did this for us him and the other young men in his entourage when we were shorties. That went straight to my heart. I never saw him again after that day until I saw a news story earlier this week in which we talked about the Chicago rapper with gang ties murdered in Atlanta. I've heard that story a million times in the news, but that one hit me differently. While I, like too many of us, would have normally shrugged it off and chalked it up as a death by the sword which you once lived, I couldn't this time, because is that really the sword he lived by, or just the one he died by? Was a sword wielder all he was? That's not who I met on Christmas. Did he actually get a chance to live at all? And when did he resign himself to living a life that could only lead to a premature bloody end on the street outside his nightclub, or a street corner in the middle of the afternoon, a car in a gas station, or even coming out of a high-end store or the Gold Coast for that matter? Or did we, the ones he said he wished would have done something as simple as showing him a bit of love and consideration on Christmas when he was a kid, doom him, and all the ones like him to the fates they now suffer? We can do so much more on the front end. Before they get picked up by the police for the first time, before they need a lawyer, before they're fighting a case, before they make deals that will get them killed, and before we're trying to piece together funeral money and sum up a whole life and the deeds therein in a post on something as common as Facebook, we have to get them before anything else does. That's the work we need to get started doing. You can't build a movement or make change if you don't first build the people up who will be a part of it. Sleep in heavenly peace, Ron. Judge not lest ye be judged, man. There's multiple sides to every person, you know, and a lot of criminals, a lot of like high-level criminals, Al Capones do this, cartel members do this. Like, they help out a lot of areas of the place where they have their territory. You know, they pass out gifts. They, you know, like I said, all the big gangsters in Chicago used to do the same thing. Now, part of this, they get the goodwill of the community. Okay, people are less likely to snitch on them. I'm not saying that they do that deliberately, but that's a, you know, side effect of it. And a lot of these guys are heroes to some people. You know, a lot of these guys really are looked at as like really good guys by certain people, and they're looked at as really bad guys by other people. Me personally, I don't look at them as nothing. Like I said, I can't see inside of them. I'm not God. I'm not going to put myself in his place if I have to judge these people. Now, where does Chicago go from here? Is there a beef between Chicago and these guys that, you know, Vaughn got into? I mean, I'm not going to go through all their names, because I don't want to mess nothing up by putting the wrong person's name in this or the wrong group or anything like that. But you guys know who I'm referring to. The guys that Vaughn got into with down at the club, and everybody that's supposedly connected to him. Again, I'm not from there, so I'm not saying names because I don't know the politics of that area like I do my own city. I'm not going to say who's connected to who. Is this a beef between us now? Not us, but, you know, the BDs and these guys. No. If you look at Chicago, and this is for people who, you know, maybe are not from the area, if you look at these statistics, the data, and I know I've brought this up a million times, people are sick of hearing about this, but I'm going to bring it up again to make this point. If you look at the most violent area of the city, it's a small part of the west side of the city. Okay, the Harrison District. It was on the cover of the Sun-Times. The Harrison District is the most violent police district in the city of Chicago. It's a small district that encompasses East Garfield Park on the west side of the city of Chicago. Now, I've done interviews with people from this area, from Austin, from, you know, the Garfield Park neighborhood. I've done interviews with these guys. I've asked them, why is this the most violent area? And what they tell me is, one, the dope money that's out there, okay, but that's like a secondary reason. The main reason they tell me is the size and the layout of that part of the west side. You're very close to the rivals. You know, you're very close to the next block and the guys that you're into it with, and you have all these gangs kind of mixed in. On the west side, it's not as much like gang segregated as it is on the south side. You know, on the south side, you got this block, they claim this, you got this block, they claim this. On the west side, you got some blocks where things are kind of like mixed in, okay, and you might have a guy that's claiming this over here, and, you know, Black Souls over here, and GDs and Vice Lords, and these guys are all kind of like in the same general vicinity. You still have blocks. I mean, you still got like gang corners that are claimed by this gang and that gang, but you definitely have a mix. You know, you even got BDs on the west side, the jungle BDs over there on Jackson and Levitt. And these guys are very close. It's really impossible on the west side to not bump into your ops at some point. And well, you know what the guys tell me is that the fact that you're so close to your ops is one of the reasons why the violence is the worst out there. On the south side, it's a little bit less, you know, because again, you're a little bit farther away. Not that much farther, but you're farther. The south side is more spread out if you look at the population map. North side got gangs. Okay, it's got a lot of gangs. Actually, the north side's probably got more gangs than the south or the west side. When it comes to Latino gangs, we got a ton of gangs up here. I'm gonna let you guys know I live in the Lakeview neighborhood. You know, we just had the 2-6, the dark side 2-6, recently moved into this neighborhood. That's now one of like probably 8-10 gangs that's in this neighborhood, and this is like an up and coming neighborhood. Like, it's a predominantly white and Hispanic neighborhood. And then we have a group of GDs, which I believe is over by like Belmont and Sheffield. And I was just over there the other day. I got the footage for that. I should let you guys know what that neighborhood looks like. But the neighborhood is like popping. Like, there's a lot of, you know, young urban professionals moving into the neighborhood. But we still got a ton of gangs over here, man. Gang activity. You see the gang graffiti everywhere. Every time you go into the bathroom to drop a deuce, there's gangs tagging up the bathroom door. You know what I'm saying? A guy just got shot, like a 17-year-old, like a couple blocks from me. Another dude, there was, you know, I hear shootings all the time in this neighborhood. And this is considered a quote-unquote good neighborhood. Lakeview High School has had a ton of shootings in front of it. So the problem is, though, I mean, not the problem, like the good part is that these gangs are kind of far from each other compared with the west side. Things are pretty far. Like, for example, up in Rogers Park, PBG, okay, they're all the way up at 7,600. I'm sorry, no, they're like 7,200 north. Okay, 7,000, 7,200. The Four Corner Hustlers, okay, and the Vice Lords that they're into with in Uptown, they're like 30 blocks south. Literally 30 blocks. Now, those guys are closer to another group of GDs, the TFG guys, and the Hula Gang, who they now have a truce with. But, you know, 30 blocks? Like out west, out south, you're not 30 blocks away from your ops. You're like half a block. You know what I'm saying? Now check this out. The PD.
Yeah, I was watching Windy City Report. That's why I wasn't like narrating or anything like that, but yeah, I was I hope I don't get in trouble for doing that, because it's somebody else's YouTube channel, you know. Yeah. So I got here like an hour ago, and the only reason why it took an hour later, I was on the phone bullshitting with another coworker for a fucking hour, which I don't mind. Shout out to my boy Willie. All right, good night everyone.